Is it possible that your mind could become even sharper at 80 than it was at 40 if you simply knew what to change today? Most people accept the idea that our minds inevitably slow down with age. Forgetfulness, trouble learning new things, or losing mental agility are seen as the price of growing older. But what if this belief is not only inaccurate, but also prevents us from unlocking the true potential of our later years? Imagine a world where the twilight of life is not a period of decline, but a time of astonishing mental clarity, creativity, and wisdom. In an unassuming rural village in northern Japan, researchers stumbled upon something that could upend everything we think we know about aging brains. Here, elders in their 80s and even 90s gather daily. Their sharpness is remarkable. They solve puzzles that would stump most college students, recall childhood memories in vivid detail, and engage in spirited debates that rival any university seminar. Yet, none of them frequent gyms, nor do they chase the latest supplement trends. Their remarkable cognitive resilience is rooted in something far less commercial, and perhaps far more profound. The first thread in this tapestry of mental vitality is what researchers have called emotional novelty. These elders have made it a habit to experience new emotions every day. Rather than sticking to the familiar, they might learn a song in a language they've never spoken, or pen a heartfelt letter to a stranger in a distant town. By intentionally exposing themselves to unfamiliar feelings, excitement, nervousness, even vulnerability, they stimulate regions of the brain often left dormant by routine. This constant dance with new emotions keeps their neural pathways flexible and resilient, showing that the brain, much like the body, thrives on variety. Next comes a practice that sounds almost counterintuitive: intentional disorientation. Many of the sharpest minds in the village have a curious habit. During their daily walks, they purposely take new, sometimes confusing paths through the winding village lanes, rice paddies, and forests. The unfamiliarity forces their brains to construct new spatial maps, activating and regenerating neurons in the hippocampus, the very region responsible for memory and navigation. Science backs this up. Even in late adulthood, the brain can forge new connections, given the right kind of challenge. A third fascinating habit, it is mirrored storytelling. Here, elders gather in the evenings to share stories from their youth. But there's a twist. Each person must retell a childhood event from the perspective of someone else who was there. A sibling, a parent, even a rival. This exercise does more than test memory. It cultivates empathy and cognitive flexibility. The brain must step outside its habitual viewpoint, reorganizing memories and emotions to fit another's experience. The result, not just improved recall, but a nimble mind capable of seeing the world through many lenses. Fourth is the art of micro-curiosity. In this village, asking questions is not reserved for children or students. It's a lifelong ritual. Each day, every elder seeks out at least one new question about something ordinary. Why do the crows gather at dawn? What causes the river to change color with the seasons? These questions may seem trivial, but the act of wondering, of seeking answers, keeps neural pathways active and plastic. The brain, much like a muscle, strengthens with use, especially when that use is fueled by curiosity. The fifth tradition is tactile memory games, but not with plastic or digital gadgets. Instead, the elders use natural materials, smooth pebbles, dried beans, or polished shells. They might arrange them by size or texture, or play games that require identifying objects by touch alone. This reawakens sensory memory, a form of recall often neglected in our screen-dominated world. By engaging the hands and the mind together, these simple exercises activate parts of the brain that support both memory and fine motor skills. The sixth practice is the nightly slow knowledge ritual. Unlike cramming facts or chasing the latest news, this tradition involves sitting quietly with a single idea from history, philosophy, or literature. The goal isn't to memorize, but to ponder deeply. What did a poet mean by a certain line? Why did an ancient philosopher choose a particular path? This slow, deliberate reflection encourages the formation of deep neural connections, expanding not just what elders know, but how they think about knowledge itself. Perhaps the most surprising of all is the seventh secret: silent mornings. As dawn breaks, there is no chatter, no radio, no phones. Instead, elders sit with a cup of tea, listening to the birds, watching the play of shadows, and simply observing the world. This period of intentional silence is not passive. It's a mental reset. The brain, unburdened by language or distraction, becomes more attuned to subtle sensory details, setting the tone for a more alert and engaged day. These techniques are not part of any flashy wellness regime. They aren't sold by influencers or championed in glossy magazines. Instead, they are woven quietly into the fabric of daily life in places where aging is not feared, but revered as a new stage of evolution. Here, to be old is not to fade, but to flourish. So, why aren't these habits more widely known? In our culture, speed, efficiency, and perpetual stimulation are celebrated. We prize multitasking and novelty for its own sake, not realizing that true mental longevity comes from doing things differently, intentionally, creatively, and with curiosity. We race through life, yet the elders of this Japanese village show that the richest rewards come from slowing down, savoring the unfamiliar, and daring to see the world anew. Imagine your 80s not as a time of decline, but as a renaissance, a period when your mind is sharper, more creative, and more compassionate than ever before. It's not about doing more, but about doing things differently. The real question is, will you challenge the myths of aging and choose to rewire your brain, one curious question, one silent morning, one unfamiliar path at a time? The path to a brighter, sharper future may not be found in the latest trends, but in the gentle, persistent art of living, fully and with wonder, every single day.